Welcome back to this episode of Our Mental Health Rocks podcast. I do not know why I just clapped my hands together, Jules, like that.
Because you were
Um,
happy and you knew it.
and I and we're already off because we're already just tapping into our own creative energy and just noticing what we're doing. Like, look at that. I just noticed what I did, shared it. We've now got the song running through our heads as well, and off we go creating. There is so much power in noticing what we are doing, sharing it as well, and for somebody else to notice and build on that and to bounce off that energy together that we're displaying. That's how experiences grow.
So today we're going to be looking at being kind to ourselves. Might want to call it being compassionate. You might want to call it um, speaking to yourself the way you would speak to a friend.
Hmm.
You might want to call it just kindness, right? Or gentleness or grace. There are a million different names and ways that we can look at this. But how do you, James, see being kind to yourself in heightened anxiety moments
Hmm.
being helpful?
So this is really interesting, because when you were talking as well, what was coming up in my head was this is a topic. This is a really popular topic for people that is struggling and getting very lost in overwhelm and overthinking and anxious moments too. Because it sits at the very top of like the anxiety hit list on how to help yourself and how to be kind to yourself. But the question that can bounce back from people is, but how do I do that? How do I be kind to myself? And lo and behold, there are lots and lots of proposed solutions on how to be kind for yourself, how to be kind to yourself. Um, from other people saying, go and do this, go and do that, go to a spa. I have a spa once a month. It's fantastic. I do that. Um, go and go and read a book for yourself. Go and do that. Go and sit somewhere comfortably. Go and meditate. That's being kind to yourself. That allows inner healing and stuff as well. Um, and this just isn't where we look because we're not here to give you more that you already have. If Jules and I right now said, okay, treating yourself kindly, if we said, here's our podcast today, and we're going to talk about how to be kinder to yourself, and we came up with ideas like we've just shared, there's a fair chance you'd be in your brain and be going, done that too, done that, didn't work. No, I do that all the time. It doesn't make any difference at all. I'm forever gardening. I'm forever digging up plants and planting new plants. I've gone through so many different herbs this last week because somebody said to be kind to myself and be gentle to myself. Go and do something gentle like dig up some herbs and put some new ones in. Um, what comes up for me when it comes to being kind to myself, if I'm being unkind to myself, then it's because I'm running at a speed that's way too fast to do anything about how I'm feeling. And from that from that state of mind, I'm not gonna solve anything, and I'm definitely not gonna move out of an anxious experience in any way soon. And that's not to say that I won't, I still will. Just I'm not allowing the space for my body and my system to do the work to express that energy to move it across so that I move into a default state of feeling content, quieter minds, and more at peace for myself. So to be kind for me would be that initial, it's that metaphorical step back and a breath of like, right, stop. We're going too fast. That's my starting point.
think that's an essential starting point as well, because I agree with what you've said. As soon as you talk about like being kind to yourself, it's go and do the spa day, go and book a
Hmm.
go and do something for you, go and do a shopping, go and take time for yourself, say no to others. But there's a difference between self-care and self-compassion.
Hmm.
And when we are being compassionate and kind to ourselves in how we're relating to ourselves, that's the difference that makes a difference.
Mm.
Because you can go, as you've just said, to all of the spas in the world, but as we said in an earlier podcast, that's looking outside of us for the solution and for the
Yeah.
peace. Whereas when we are in the weeds and having the experience, when we're just being that bit gentler with ourselves, lessening some of the expectations that we're putting on ourselves, talking a bit kinder to ourselves, slowing down so we can see we don't have to do another million things.
Hmm.
That for me is self-compassion.
Yes.
And you're so right. So on the top of the hit list, I love the anxiety hit list. Hit list, cure list. Neither word. What I see is it's always a go to do something else,
Hmm.
not a go to maybe do less.
Hmm.
Go to notice how you're speaking to yourself. Go to what if the kindness to yourself was you wouldn't expect a friend. Let's just use an example out of somebody I was talking to earlier on, well, later on last year. They had a whole lot of family coming for Christmas, and it was a
Hmm.
big thing. They did it every year, and it was just expected they were all going to do it again this year. But circumstances had changed, and the capacity wasn't the same. So what if the self-care was not the self-compassion was the self-care would be saying no to other people so they don't come. The
Hmm.
self-compassion is, and it's okay for you to say that.
Yeah.
It's okay for you to feel how you're feeling, given everything that's going on. Of course, you're feeling like this. Back to understanding a little bit, which we've talked about before,
Hmm.
and it's coming back to you wouldn't say to a friend, "Well, given all you've got me going on, you should be keeping the tradition up."
Yeah.
You would say to a friend, "Well, really, I'm not surprised you've done that. I'm actually glad that you have." And that to me is compassion, self-compassion. It's acknowledgement of how you're feeling without expectation or trying to do anything with it. It's an understanding of the humanness that we all have.
Hmm.
And it's holding it with a bit more grace and a bit more gentleness.
Yeah, I'm hearing the word honesty coming up for me as well. Actually, just being completely honest with how we feel about upcoming event. Now we know it's not the event that's creating our experience, and that also doesn't mean though that we're not still having that experience. And if that experience looks real and looks true in that moment, then by being honest with how we're feeling about that moment with people and bringing that self-compassion is going to really show people authentically like who we are in that moment and what we are feeling. And if they, as all humans do, if they have that same compassion, then just as you say, they're going to see this person like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize. Okay, so how can I help? What do you need? How can we share the load? How can we make this work? Or you never know, it might even be, I love hosting. Tell you what, I'll do it from round to mine. Hmm? None of which we would have anticipated in a heightened anxious state where we feel like it's all on us and we don't know um how you're actually going to manage it. Welcome to the dog. The dogs are howling. But we don't know how we're going to manage it. Um, two secs. So yeah, so when we're in that state of mind, it looks like it's all on us, and it looks like we're just going to have to deal with it with whatever we're feeling. And we may keep it all to ourselves, and we don't step into self-compassion. We just hold it all and then go, oh, just have to get on with it and do it. And it's not just the energy that we're bringing for ourselves, but we also all that energy comes into that space as well. And people will may well know it's like, you all right? Oh yeah, yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. I'm just gonna get on with it. To bringing the honesty will take the load off for us because we're releasing whatever we're feeling and we're not holding on to it. And by being open to the universe, to people, somebody or something always shows up to help lighten that load. All right. If we don't share what's going on, then how are we going to get that help and support? Um, when you talked around that energy that we feel, well, if a problem comes up to mind or a worry about something, we've that's come up internally, like that's being created from within. So surely it makes more sense to then see, okay, so what's the solution that's going to come through us from within as well, instead of looking outside of like, how do I make this work? How do I pull it all together? How do I hold it all together as well? If we've not we, but if our mind has created this anxiety around something, then and that's from within, then there's nothing outside of us that we're going to suddenly find that's going to solve it. It always starts from within. And if that within is to do, okay, I'm going to be honest with you, Jules, I can't host this, and here's the reasons why, all right? Then that is going to bring me so many more solutions than me reading a book on how to manage hosting Jules at a Christmas party. 10 tips.
And even speaking to ourselves and saying like, James, I'm a bit worried to say this to you. Like I've been thinking about it and I've been a bit stressed. I just can't. It's too much for me to do Christmas this year. Now,
Mm,
now, acknowledging and being, as you said, the honesty in how we're feeling can open up that conversation from a totally different perspective. And sometimes we don't have to go through a big, huge Christmas celebration to start speaking up.
yeah.
It's a muscle that we can flex. So we can build, we can start testing it on the smaller things. Like if you catch yourself out for the house being messy when you've literally not had 2 minutes to do it. Like I've been on calls all day today since 11 o'clock this morning.
Hmm.
Right. We were 5 minutes late because I quickly whacked some tea in the slow cooker
Yeah.
to do, so I said can we be a bit later because I literally didn't finish. So like we can so I could either beat myself up for that, or I can think, okay, well, James was fine with that. It means I'm later on I'm going to have something to eat, that's in case that I can feed the family, right? And I can test it with the small things.
Hmm.
With the being 5 minutes late, we can test it with that. We can test it with not fancying going for a cup out with a friend. We can test it in we can test it in saying no to a partner. Or we can test it in saying no to a family member. We can test it in just even catching how we're feeling, and instead of judging ourselves, just simply saying to ourselves, pretty, and I'm not surprised I feel this way.
Mm.
Got a lot of thinking going on. Even just that, I'm not surprised I feel this way. I've got a lot of thinking going on. That's compassionate to yourself and can be the first step. It doesn't have to be huge because all of the smalls, if you think about how you feel normally, sort of small things that turn into big things, and the reverse is true as well. All of the small things of if you practicing can turn into bigger results in the positive for you, not just
Yeah.
in that way. So that's what we're going to leave you with today, with your exploration of what would your first step be?
Yes. What? I love that. That is it. Yeah. What's your first step? And then go from there with what happens next. The key is we're no longer listening outside for advice. We're listening inside for what comes up that's helpful. You'll be surprised at what shows up, and whatever it is, when you go with it, it will surprise you even more how helpful it was.
We'd love to hear what comes up for you. But just remember that when you're being compassionate about yourself, that in of itself can turn down the intensity of the feelings that you've got that don't feel great. What's your first step? Bye, James.
Bye, Jules.